Hey everyone, getting ready for your factors and multiples test? Well, I am here to help you. We're going to take a look at this together so you can check your work. Number 1A, what is the definition of multiples? You should know multiples are counting by the number. So all you have to do for this is just write that. Multiples are counting by the number. Okay, number 1B. What are the next three multiples of 3? Next should really stand out to you. If it's saying the next three multiples, it's not saying the first three. If it was the first, we would start with 3. But it wants to know the next multiple after 3. So 3 is the first. After 3 is going to come 6. And I'm looking at my options here, and I'm already seeing 3 and 3 are B and C, so it can't be either of these because it's the next 3. After 6 would come 9. That matches this. After 9, if I had 3 more, I would get 12. So I know my answer here has to be A. Number 2A. Which number is a multiple of 8? Underline multiple. Multiples are counting by the number. We're counting by the number 8. And over here on 2B, it wants you to show the math to prove your thinking. So whenever I'm dealing with multiples, counting by the number, I have to ask myself, how many times can I count by 8 to hopefully get, and I'm checking choice A, 45. So to hopefully get 45. When I have a missing multiplication problem, I can do the inverse operation of division to check. So my division equation would be 45 divided by 8. If you plug that into your calculator, you're going to get 5.62. That is not a whole number, so it can't be A. So now I'm going to check choice B. And I say again, how many times can I count by 8 to hopefully get 56? And I go ahead and do the inverse operation of division. 56 divided by 8 equals 7. That is a whole number, so I know 56 is probably my right answer, but I still have to check all of my choices. So I'm going to check C. How many times can I count by 8 to hopefully get 73? Inverse operation, 73 divided by 8 equals, when you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 9.12. Again, not a whole number, can't be C, so I know it is choice B, 56. Moving on, 3A, what is the definition of factors? Factors are the numbers that multiply together. So go ahead and write that down. Factors are the numbers that multiply together. 3B says, which number is a factor of 78? And down here, 3C, show the math that proves your thinking. So I'm going to want to show my work down here. When I'm thinking factors, I'm thinking of the numbers that multiply together. So I'm thinking blank times blank equals 78. And I know in my first blank, when I have a multiple choice problem, I can just plug in my first choice and ask myself 10 times something gets me 78. When I'm missing multiplication, I just do the inverse operation of division to solve. So down here, I'm going to show my thinking. 78 divided by 10 equals 7.8. Not a whole number, so I know it can't be choice A. Another reason I know that it can't be choice A is 78 ends in an 8, and all multiples of 10 end in 0. So I could have known that that wasn't going to work without even doing the math. Let's check number 3. I don't know any tricks for 3s like I did for 10, so I have to do the math for something. And I ask myself, 3 times something equals 78. Missing multiplication problem means I do the inverse operation. 78 divided by 3 equals, if you plug that into your calculator, you're going to get 26. That is a whole number, so I know my answer is probably B, but I still have to check C to make sure. So I say 4 times something equals 78. Missing multiplication means inverse operation. 78 divided by 4 equals 19.5. We did not get a whole number, so it can't be choice C. That means our answer is B, 3. Okay, number 4. Is 5 a prime or composite number? So one thing I need to look at, I'm looking at the number 5. I want to know if it's prime or composite. There's a second part of this question. It says show the factor rainbow and explain how you know. So for this problem, I have to answer if it's prime or composite, draw a factor rainbow, and explain how I know in my words. So I'm going to start out with the factor rainbow because that's going to prove if the number 5 is prime or composite. So I'm starting here with 1 on one side, 5 on the other side. I draw my rainbow. The next number that I am going to check is 2, and I'm going to pause it and get a pencil because I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some erasing here. Okay, I'm back with my pencil. I hope you have one too. I started out with 1 and 5 because the first 2 factors of every number are 1 and that number. Then the next thing I'm going to do is check the number 2. Now, I know that all multiples of 2 end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. 5 does not end in any of those numbers, so I'm not even going to bother checking 2. I know it's not going to work. So I'll erase that and check my next number, which is 3. And I have to ask myself, 3 times something equals 5. I can do the inverse operation to check. 5 divided by 3 equals, I get 1.6, equals 1.666667, not a whole number. So I know 3 doesn't work. I'm going to erase that. The next number I'm going to check is 4. And I ask myself, 4 times something equals 5. Inverse operation, 5 divided by 4 equals 1.25. Again, not a whole number, so I erase my 4. My next number that I'm going to check is 5. But I can see that 5 is on my other side of the rainbow, so I'm done. I don't need to check 5 again. So I can see on my factor rainbow, I only have 2 factors, 1 and 5. And I know prime numbers only have 2 factors, 1 and that number. So I'm going to start writing my explanation and reword the question. Is 5 a prime or composite number? 5 is a prime number because it only has 2 factors, and I'm going to really explain myself and say what the 2 factors are. So I'll say comma, which are 1 and 5, period. To make a perfect explanation, I'm going to include my definition of a prime number. Prime numbers only have 2 factors, comma, which are 1 and that number, period. All right, we're done with the front. Let's move on to the back. Number 5A, draw a factor rainbow to identify all the factors of 40. When I see all factors, I automatically know that my strategy is going to be a factor rainbow, which this problem already says. So I know the first 2 factors of every number are 1 and that number, which in this case is 40. So I put 1 and 40 really far away, and I draw my arc. The next number I'm going to check is 2. I know 2 is going to work because 40 ends in a 0, and all multiples of 2 end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. So I check with my calculator to see what it is. Inverse operation, 40 divided by 2, I get 20. And I can go ahead and draw my arc. Next, I'm going to check the number 3, and I say 3 times something equals 40. Inverse operation, 40 divided by 3, 13.33333, not a whole number, can't be 3. So I'm going to erase my 3, and I'm going to check 4. And I ask 4 times something equals 40. Inverse operation, 40 divided by 4 equals 10, a whole number, so the factor pair is 10. So I have 4 and 10. Next, I'm going to check 5. I know 5 will work for 40 because 40 ends in 0. and all multiples of 5 end in 5 or 0. So I think 5 times something equals 40. Inverse operation, 40 divided by 5, whole number of 8. So I put my 8 here, draw my arc. Next I need to check the number 6. 6 times something equals 40. 40 divided by 6 equals 6.666667, not a whole number. Now I need to try the number 7. 7 times something equals 40. 40 divided by 7 equals this big number that is not a whole number, so 7 doesn't work. And I don't need to check the number 8 because it's already on the other side of my rainbow. Okay, I'm going to switch to my pen so you can see a little bit better. 5b says, which shows all the factors of 40. So it's asking me to list the factors. So I need to check my rainbow with my choices. And I have to do it very carefully to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to touch my rainbow, then touch my choices. We'll start with A. I have 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 5, 5, 8, 10. Oh, there's no 8 in this list, so I'm going to cross it out. It can't be that. Now I'll check B, starting with my rainbow. 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 5. Okay. 4 is not on this list, so I cross that out. Check C, 1, 10. Oh, I know right away that's not right, not C. Now let me check D. 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 5, 5, 8, 8, 10, 10, 20, 20, 40, 40. Finally, I have a match. I circled D. 6A. When you have to find all the factors, what should you draw? In this problem, you should see all. You should see factors. You think of your strategy, a factor rainbow. 6b, what are the first two factors of any number? You know that the first two factors of any number are 1 and that number. 6c, draw a factor rainbow to identify all the factors of 24. Again, I see all factors. I should know that I need a factor rainbow, but the problem does tell me. So I'm going to start out with the first two factors of every number, which are 1 and that number. In this case, that is 24. So I draw 1 and 24. I draw my arc. Next, I'm going to check the number 2. 2 times something equals 24. I know this will work because 24 ends in a 4. All multiples of 2 end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. So 24 divided by 2, I get the number 12. 2 and 12. Next, I'm going to check the number 3. 3 times something equals 24. In my calculator, 24 divided by 3 equals 8. And I should know that because skate times tree equals gently floor, 24. Draw your arc. Next, I can try the number 4. 4 times something equals 24. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. And I could have done that without my calculator because I know that door times chicks equals denty floor, 24. Now I need to check the number 5, but wait a second. 24 ends in a 4. All multiples of 5 and then 5 are 0, so I can erase my 5. Going to check number 6, but I see it's on the other side of my rainbow, so I'm good. There's my factor rainbow for 24. I'm going to give you the secret word now. The secret word is snowball. All right, let's go up to number 7. Which number is a factor of 8, but not, box in your not, a multiple of 6? So I know factors are something times something equals. Multiples are counting by the number. And I'm just going to deal with this first part of the problem first. Which number is a factor of 18? And I'm going to cover up this part. I'm going to look at that later. So when I'm doing factors, I know something times something equals 18. If I have multiple choice, I can put the first one in the blank and ask myself that blank times something equals 18. So first I'm going to try 9 times something equals 18. Well, I already know my 9, so I know 9 times 2 equals 18. So I know, yep, that could be a factor. And I'm looking for something that is a factor of 18. Then I can plug in my 6. 6 times something equals 18. Well, I already know that 3 times chicks equals 8 and 18. So I know that 3 could go in there. 6 times 3 equals 18 would work. So this could be a choice. Then I'm going to ask myself, 5 times something equals 18. Well, 18 ends in an 8. All multiples of 5 end in 5 or 0. So I know, okay, it can't be 5. So now that I've done this first part, I can look at this second part. What is not a multiple of 6? Multiples are counting by the number. So I'm just going to start counting by the number 6, and I have to go up to a number that's past here. So 6, comma, if I add 6 more, I'm going to get 12, and that's already going past my choices, so I can just say dot, 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 and cross it out, because I'm looking for the number that's not on this list. So I can already see from my start options, 6 is on the list, so it can't be 6. 9 is not, so my choice has to be A, 9. We have another similar problem with number 8. Which number is a factor of 10, but not, put a box around the not, a multiple of 5? So I'm just going to deal with this first part. Which number is a factor of 10? I know factors are something times something equals 10. When I have multiple choice, I can plug in my first number to the first blank and ask myself, 10 times something equals 10. Well, I already know 10 times 1 is going to equal 10. That's the identity property, or the one-dentity property. So A could work. B, 7 times something equals 10. I can do the inverse operation to check. 10 divided by 7. I don't have a whole number, so 7 cannot be a factor. I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. Let's check 2. 2 times something equals 10. Well, 10 ends in a 0. All multiples of 2 end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. So I know that's going to work, and I happen to know that 2 times 5 equals 10. So this could be a choice. So I have it narrowed down to 10 and 2, and I have the second part to the problem here. Not a multiple of 5. So I know that multiples are counting by the number. So when I'm counting by 5, I know 5, and I have to go past this number, one of my choices here. So 5, next would come 10, which is here. I have to go past that, so 15. Nothing's higher than that. Dot, dot, dot. Cross it out. I'm looking for a number that's not on this list. 10 is on this list. 2 is not, so I know it has to be 2. And there we go, choice C. Number 9, last one, is for a prime or composite number. That's our first part. Show the factor rainbow and explain how you know. So a couple different things I have to say if it's prime or composite, draw my factor rainbow, and explain in words. So I'm starting with the number 4. I'm going to draw my factor rainbow. The first 2 factors of every number are 1 and that number. I'm going to draw my arc, 1 and 4. Next, I check the number 2. Well, I know that 2 times 2 equals 4. And then I have a 2 on both sides of the rainbow, so that was easy. I can stop right there. Now I just need to answer the question. Starting with this first part, is 4 a prime or composite number? I see that it has more than 2 factors, so I know it has to be composite. So I'm going to reword the question. 4 is a composite number because it has, and let me count my factors, 1, 2, I don't count the 2 twice, 3, 1, 2, 3 factors, because it has 3 factors. Now explain how I know. To explain even better, I'm going to tell the definition for composite. A composite number has more than 2 factors, period. All right, and if you're still here, you're still watching, I'm going to give you an extra bonus to write down. If you have a snowflake drawn underneath your snowball word, then you can get some extra money tomorrow. So, all right, I hope this was helpful. I'll see you tomorrow. You're going to do great on this test. Good luck. Bye-bye.